Welcome to the Fischer-Z 50th anniversary audio series, where I've picked my favourite tracks over the years, and I'm going to share the story of those tracks and a lot more.
For those that don't know, my name is Martin Bull, and I'm going to be hosting and helping John curate his way through all of his favourite tracks. And this episode features Further From Love from 1992's Destination Paradise album and Human Beings from Kamikaze Shirt back in 1993. We're going to move on to Further From Love from Destination Paradise, 1992.
Yeah.
So why this one? You do this one live most shows,
Always.
don't you? Yeah.
I do that more often than Molly's. That's a totally timeless song that'll always mean masses to anybody. People die, statistics lie, waste of life. I mean, it's all about everything. It's about Palestine. It's about everywhere. It's about the Ukraine. It's about everything. Because like Battalions of Strangers is pretty good for that as well. But Further From Love's better because the message is preaching. The fact is further from love. We were down at Real World recording Destination Paradise when I was playing. I just associate that song with playing tennis with Peter Gabriel.
Nice.
And what a funny and beautiful man he is.
Is he any good at tennis?
He says he is. There's a note on somewhere. He did an interview where I heard, and he said, and John's not bad at tennis. I thought, miserable bastard. I used to beat him, as I remember. I don't know. I think I did. I mean, but no, it's the atmosphere. Real World, load of people like going there. For me, it's a bit peaceful. I had to stomp around in big boots and call everybody bastards because it was just too nice. I'd have DMs and shorts on in the winter in the snow, and they produced beautiful. Everything was beautiful down there. The food, the accommodation. So when they said what was food, I said, it's absolute shite. It's dreadful. I hate it. You're trying to mix something, and there's a glass floor with a swan going underneath, and you think, absolute bollocks. You know, what is going on? But Peter loved it, and I'll at some stage tell you my Pete and Sinead story, which is unbelievable. But part of the experiences of being down there was funny because with Peter, he was going out with Sinead O'Connor at one stage during there, and he's going out with Rosanna Arquette was his girlfriend, and Rosanna Arquette's mate was Isabella Rossellini, who was incredibly beautiful. Yeah. So she was my dinner partner. So I had dinner with Isabella Rossellini. Pete was with it's funny.
Well, that's a hell of a story.
That's a good one. But also, it's not as good as the Susanna Hoffs one.
Go on. Come on, let's have it.
No, I can't do that one. Or the Go-Go's. The Go-Go's, my God, the Americans, the Go-Go's, the girls. I've never met more debauched bands. Forget all the male bands in the world. The Go-Go's, Jesus. No, but I associate Further From Love with the nighttime at the Real World because it was so beautiful. And my little girls that are now, the oldest one's now 40 plus, they were at that stage, they must have been something like 10, 8 and 6. And we were staying in the producer's cottage, which is in the middle of the complex there. And they would be, I just remember seeing them when it's really, like a warm night, they'd be leaning and looking out the window. And I'd come back to the producer's cottage. But Further From Love, Peter sings on that and he loved it. Totally. I mean, it's always going to be one of the best 10 songs I've ever done. And I worked live. I would do it at the end of sets. Everybody says you should finish with a noisy song. I don't believe in that. I think that everybody says, why don't you finish with Molly?
Well, John, if everybody says it, you're definitely not going to believe in it.
No, I'm not going to do it at all. I can't remember a gig that I haven't done it for the last 5 years. And the thing is about it also, I mean, the Peter and Sinead story is fantastic. I was down there for 3 months. In the first 6 weeks, Sinead O'Connor would speak to me, and in the second, she wouldn't. She was making an album with Peter. Right, and she was with Peter, and sometimes I was sharing the cottage that they were in. There was New Order was down there, and I loved them. They were nice guys. So New Order, us and somebody else were down there. But Sinead O'Connor was such a talent and such a waste. We did gigs with her, festivals with. I think it was 84. I thought, my God, that woman's good, and the power. She had a band that was quite electric-y then, and that she must have been about 20. Really good.
Yeah. Talk to me how you got from Fisher's Head then to Destination Paradise. Because there's a 3-year gap there between the two. What was that journey like?
Well, it was ups and downs, personal life, really, and bits and pieces and kids and marriages falling apart and being rebuilt and all that sort of stuff. And then we came back with a relatively stable Destination Paradise, but still with Steve Kellner. And was he in playing there? Pete Sindon was in by then playing bass, wasn't he? Of course, Dr. Smith, Steve Kelden playing drums, Count Sinden. Hadge. Hadge and I got to a stage whereby when we did Destination Paradise and we did Further From Love, the problem was nobody took that music seriously because we were so heavily into performance art that year. If you see what the band looked like, it was absolutely ludicrous. I tend to be contrary and anti-establishment. Hadge is worse. And the two of us together, I loved him. We fell out later. I hadn't seen him for 30 years, nearly. And he came back and he played the Oberhausen concert. And I'm going to keep in touch with him. He's a wonderful musician. He's a very, very interesting man, Hadji Wesner. And we would do things like, he'd do 6 songs where he'd turn the guitar off and just play it so you couldn't hear anything. And he'd worship the PA with his beads. And we did performance things, amazing performance things throughout the Destination Paradise show. But I mean, that's got great songs on it.
Actually, not easy to get hold of as on vinyl either.
No, not at all.
But you've got.
I haven't got one. Of course.
Well, there's no. I mean, this one, like, there's no insert.
No.
So I've got nothing.
No, what happens is people nick them, copy them, and do all sorts of things. And we've got to compare them to that. But I've never been interested enough to sort of get on it. I think there's a body of work which you keep going with, and that's it.
I thought you were going to choose Marguerite off this album.
I love Marguerite
rather than Further From Love.
Further From Love is so good though. It's just so good, and it's absolutely solid. I usually play Marguerite as well. I love that.
Stay in bed for years, but that was never my ambition. And keep the curtains drawn all day, and watch the children's television. Don't treat me gently, I'm still alive. Whoa, Marguerite, you're sinner in the pocket of my car. Marguerite, you're sinner, push the realms of truth so far. All the pictures look the same in the corner of the game. Marguerite, you're sinner, I know you. There's been a funeral in my head. It's taken time, but I've recovered.
You know the Marguerite story as well, presumably.
Go on.
She is. And my friend of mine tracked her down to South America. He was on a bicycle in South America, and he tracked her down and said, "Did you know this bloke wrote a song about you?" And she said, "So what?" I thought that was great. Do you know why I chose her? She wrote a novel in 1927, I think, from the point of view of a gay 17-year-old bloke. And as a female writer at that stage, bloody hell, Marguerite Yourcenar, what a great name! That, and in the pocket of my car I had the paperback in my car, which I travelled around with. But I've got stories that most people don't. It's very funny. I hear about people, they write albums. What did you do? Oh, we went to the country to write albums. How did you write them? Well, we had these riffs. We did this, and then the bloke wrote some words. It doesn't work like that for me. But that's because I'm not really a musician. I'm a writer, really. And the art form is the song, mainly. I'm going to do an extra album next year. I've written 7 songs in the last week, which I absolutely adore. Because what I wanted to do was, when I was 18, 19, I was a huge Dylan fan, Velvet Underground fan, Leonard Cohen fan. And I wanted to write those story, lyric dense songs, right? And I tried, but you didn't have enough life experience, really. And for some reason, when I was in Hamburg, I've been doing all the artwork, so I shouldn't have been doing that at all. But I just come up with this one, and then I've got 7 songs that I really like, and I'll do 3 more. If you're an artist, you need an outlet for the art. I believe that all artists, your career must be art-driven and not marketing-driven. I will record the whole song. I can either do it with musicians. I can do it on my own. All the songs work on my own. It could be done like a Dylan album easily. I'm a huge Lou Reed fan. The thing that's great about Lou is he's made 3 brilliant records, and the rest of his catalogue has been absolute shit. And that takes some doing. But I like the two albums I like, obviously Transformer, which I was brought up on. That's my biggest, most influential record of my life, is Transformer, and Hunky Dory from Bowie. Those two. But then, New York's a fabulous album from '89. That's a writer's album. I was listening to that again. I was listening to Blonde on Blonde, which everybody doesn't. Blonde on Blonde was as revolutionary. They always talk about Sgt. Pepper's and Pet Sounds as being the most revolutionary albums of that period. They were, but they were revolutionary for a certain reason. Everybody thinks about Blonde on Blonde and Highway 61 because Dylan went electric. It wasn't the fact he went electric. The production on Blonde is nothing's ever been done like it before or since. There's pianos in both ears. There's stuff all over the place, and they get the voiceover. So I was listening to that stuff again, inspired by that. I've been observing a few stories and doing a few bits and pieces since, and I've just come up with all these songs.
Let's now move on to Human Beings. So this is from Kamikaze Shirt 93.
Keeping off the flies, swollen stomach, swollen head, and sad and swollen eyes. Waiting for the charity that slowly dribbles in. This little boy's relying on the color of your skin. We did it for the jaguars, the pandas and the seals, and save protected species with our desperate appeals. We did it for the elephants and monkeys in a sack, and just like you, we lost a few, they're never coming back. Why not human beings? Why not human beings? Crouching in the diesel fumes, holding out their hands, open targets, open to a million grains of sand.
So very quickly after Destination Paradise.
Yeah.
So what was special about, what's special about Human Beings?
Human Beings. I mean, again, it was a political song, and that cover's got a good story about the cover. Nobody would agree. Gary Goodman did a cover, and I thought it was crap, so I didn't use it. That was an illustration from a perfume company, straight off the internet. So we used that fucking thing instead.
And are you happy with it now?
No, terrible cover.
I thought you might look back and have that as a bit of a...
I just thought it was a spoof. It was terrible. But I like that as well. There's nothing wrong with terrible, as long as it's very something. I thought that was a crap record. Then I went back and listened to it, and it isn't. No. I mean, the thing is political. Human Beings is heavy. Also, remember, I worked with Peely. I developed a dance version of that from that record. I mean, and we did it completely with machines, and then I did it with the band afterwards, and we released the band version of it. But why not Human Beings? That was the dance. Yeah, I mean, I love that song.
And what is the song about?
Well, it's my version of it's Bob Geldof, isn't it? It's my Feed the World song.
And
I like Bob, by the way. Bob and I have met. I like Bob because he's a contrary git as well.
You've forgiven him for not having you on.
No, he didn't. They didn't know who we were, did they? I remember we used to have the same agent in one of the places, and he'd always Germany, I think. We'd do the same festivals, and I've spoken to him, been out drinking with him and stuff. But he, it's quite funny. He said, I went last time I spoke to him must be 10 years ago. He was doing the festival. He was on before us or after us, and he was in his dressing room with a towel over his head because he'd lost his voice or something. And I said to him, God, bloody hell, fucking multi-millionaire, you can't even, afford a decent voice machine. And he was like, fuck off, what? Oh, dear. I've got a lot of time for him. I don't like Midge Ure. I don't. No, I've got different feelings about Midge. I mean, he's a brilliant musician, but Bob is a contrary git. He would have been an interesting character in any century. And I always remembered when he married. Do you like Bob's story? Was great after the divorce. He was wonderful with the kids, wasn't he? With all his kids and
Very good.
his kid as well, and all he went through. But he said, I remember reading in the interview, he said, well, why have you married? You're in Paris. You've married this French woman. He said, yeah, don't have a common language. It's great. It's so Bob.
So the two albums, they also feel like I think if you put them together, almost like a double album.
Well, it's almost like that, except one's got a shit cover and one hasn't.
Well, okay, take the vinyl out, picky, but it feels like
Yeah. Well, that again was it was the same. I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember who's in the band.
This was
Hadji, about 2 years apart, weren't they?
Yeah, Hadji, Count von Sinden, S. Kellner, and Dom Smith. So
well,
a year apart they were 92, 93.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the fact that it was a constant band would have affected that.
Right.
Same record label. They were very disappointed with Kamikaze Shirt, I think, because part of the cover.
But the song, I think the songs on Kamikaze Shirt are better.
It's interesting. There's some goodies, isn't there? What song? Yeah. What song?
So you've got Peaches and Cream.
Yeah.
Killing Time.
Yeah.
Marlon. And this
Marlon was the big song about AIDS, which was picked up by a lot of people. Yeah.
Unacceptable. James, you can't do that anymore. You don't look right, you don't look right, you don't look right, you don't look young, you don't look strong, you don't look right. Kiss me quick, squeeze me slow. If that's all you want me to do, time bomb waits in your blood, and all you wanted was love. All you wanted was love. Barbara, your predictions coming true. Jane, you're much too good to be true. You don't look right, you don't look right, you don't look right, you don't look young, you don't look strong, you don't look right.
And this we call Crime.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great song. Kamikaze Shirt and Polythene.
Yeah. Polythene, yeah. That's about taking diseases to Africa.
Yeah, Human Beings, Stripper in the Mirror, Stars, Blue Anemone, another great song.
Oh,
and Radio KIL.
Yeah, Blue Anemone I wrote that because my daughter used to have problems with temperature fits, and so she'd go blue, Lucy, and but I wrote that. I wrote that for her. I mean, all the songs you can do them. It's whether you can do them with a band or not.
So why did you say? Oh, I didn't like this album. What?
Well, I thought it was. I just remembered it being not as good as Destination Paradise, and I remembered it. Well, the songs are a bit more dour, I think, when I look back at them. But then when I came to look through the whole catalogue and think, I listened to it. I haven't listened to it for 20 years.
Okay.
Quite interesting. I listened to it and thought, no, that's much better than I thought it was.
I mean, Peaches and Cream. That's a very upbeat song.
Yeah.
Killing Time.
That was the first thing. That was the first thing when all the refugees were first coming over. Open up Gibraltar jail, bring your brothers back to me. This time, not in crowded boats. It's quite fun. That was a bit ahead of its time.
Years. Yeah. You were also producing yourself quite regularly now.
Yeah, I always was. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's because you want the control, or you don't like having a third party produce?
Oh
What's the
no, well, I haven't done enough collaborating really. But I mean, the point is, you don't reach that. You don't reach that level really. You don't the level of producer where you think that they can do it better than you can. If I think that, like recently, when I've just done Punked with Tony, Tony's a great producer, and so we collaborated and done that. Pete Glenister, who I like very much, worked on stream with me, but that was disastrous because that just didn't work. No, it didn't. It didn't work for me. But the single was. I just remember dancing through sand dunes. It was a very odd video. The director wanted to get to the end bit where the model in it took her kit off in the sand. I never actually got to see that bit, but he was spent about 2 hours filming that bit.
Okay, well, we'll start next time with stream. It'll be interesting to see when you look back at that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, thanks, John, for this episode.
Thank you.
That's
It's
great.
good.
The next episode features the track Protection from the 1995 album Stream and Angel of Gardenia from 13 Stories High in 1997. See you then.
Thank you for listening to the Fischer-Z 50th anniversary audio series. I hope you enjoyed it. Look out for the next episode. Come on.